Welcome to the November 8th, 2021 meeting of the Rotary Club of Jamestown. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, singing of our national anthem, and repeating of the four-way test. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? Whose sun through spire o'er the ramparts we watched were so gathered streaming. Rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in, get through the night. Our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the and the home of the brave? Feel free to sing louder than me on that so that nobody has to hear it recorded. Let us repeat the four-way test. Of the things we say or do, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it build goodwill and better
Will it
friendships?
be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Our invocation today is given by Tori Ergang.
It's possible I remembered I was in charge of invocation only moments ago. I know you'll be gracious. So I'm reading, I see on the screen that Kirk Young is joining us via Zoom, and I'm reading from a book that he actually gave me called The Element, written by Ken Robinson. The element is the meeting point between natural aptitude and personal passion. Being in your element takes you beyond the ordinary experiences of enjoyment or happiness. We're not simply talking about laughter, good times, sunsets, and parties. When people are in their element, they connect with something fundamental to their sense of identity, purpose, and well-being. Being there provides a sense of self-revelation, of defining who we are and what we're really meant to do with our lives. Each in our own belief, let us pray. Great One, thank you for creating us differently and equipping us with unique gifts. May each person who can hear my voice fully discover their gifts and put them to work in ways that improve our community and fuel their own passions. Help us to recognize when we are in the element and strive to do more and more of those things. Help us also recognize the blessing of being in the element, even occasionally, because we don't have to struggle to meet our own basic needs like so many in our world. We ask for your peace and comfort for those who don't have the same privilege and opportunities that we do. Amen.
Thank you, Tori. Please welcome President-elect John Healy to announce our visiting Rotarians and guests.
We have Lindsay Smith, member guest, who's with Joanne Dahlbeck. Barb and Penny Erickson, guests of Ollie Erickson. And Dewey Jones, guest of Mark Olson. So welcome.
Our Rotarily Yours recorder today is Ruth Lundeen. Our many thanks to you and the Communications Committee for all you guys do. We are restructuring a couple of committees. For a few years, we've had separate fall and spring fundraising committees. What we're going to do is make those a single committee, and fall and spring, if the committee chooses, can be subcommittees of that. The other one is to align more with the areas of focus from Rotary International. So highway cleanup is now going to be a subcommittee of the newly forming environmental committee, which also any hands-on Jamestown or similar projects would be under. Is Sherry with us? There is a youth exchange meeting tomorrow, 4:30 via Zoom. And Michelle Jones has an announcement.
So I have most people responding to my email to the social committee. We're having a social committee meeting Wednesday at 5 o'clock at Labyrinth Brazil, downtown Jamestown, just to meet up and come up with some ideas for, we're going to have 2 evening social meetings, one in November at the end of the month and one in December at the end of the month. So keep that in your mind. We're also working on the Christmas party. Mark your calendar, December 20th. And we're going to get all those logistics set up. We have some things in place. So hopefully I'll see anybody who would like to attend to help, who is not on a committee and would like to participate. You're welcome to join us at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much.
Are there any other committee announcements?
Good afternoon. I am doing the Red Kettle campaign. Yay! I did reach out to the Salvation Army recently. I haven't gotten a phone call back yet. If necessary, I'll just drop by and see if we can get that roster lined up for which venues we're going to be standing, hopefully inside. So I'll be looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Hopefully it's a spreadsheet or something. I guess, John, you're going to help me along with that. Okay. And since our meeting schedule is kind of on and off, please make sure that you are checking your emails. And if I have to call you, I will call you. Thank you.
Any other announcements? All right. With that, not on your agenda, but supposed to be on the agenda, we are going to welcome new member Stacy Rasmussen today. So Tori Ergang. All right, fellow Rotarians, it's my privilege and pleasure today to welcome into membership in our club Stacy Rasmussen, whose name was proposed by Joanna Dahlbeck. The proposal has been reviewed in accordance with our club's bylaws. Stacy, we now proceed to admit you into membership in the Rotary Club of Jamestown and to the friendship of Rotary throughout the world. You have learned that the ideal of Rotary is service, and principal motto is service above self. The object of our club and all Rotary clubs is to encourage and foster this ideal, and we know that you will share in this effort. You have been approved for membership in this club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your vocation, interested in the ideals of Rotary, and willing to share in translating these ideals into action. You have agreed to accept the obligations of membership in this club and to obey our Constitution and bylaws. You have also learned about specific Rotary committees and opportunities to engage with the club. We are eager for you to put your gifts and talents to work alongside your fellow Rotarians. Now I have the pleasure of asking Stacy. Nope. Ask. Okay. Okay. To pin the Rotary emblem on yourself. which we hope you will wear with pride. It's practice for future Monday meetings. To help us get to know Stacy a little bit better, Joanna, will you share some background on this terrific addition to our club? No? Oh, Stacy's going to do it.
Apparently I came a little unprepared today. I am the director of Compeer Chautauqua and I live in Cherry Creek. I am the mom of 2 kids, 18 and 19. I scrapbook in my free time, whenever that is. And I'm very excited to be a part of this group and work with the community, work with everybody, get to know everybody. So I'm very excited.
Ruth, do you want to do a photo? Stacy, welcome to the Rotary Club of Jamestown.
Thank you.
And now 50-50 with Sharon Hamilton. $43 to the winner.
Okay, okay, last 3 numbers, 167. 167. Oh, Andy. Okay.
Congratulations, Andy. Drum roll or applause for our Sergeant of Arms, Doug Conroe. And Andy donated his 50-50 winnings back to the club. You want to hold this? Do you want it in?
It's in fine. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Post Journal. I don't know. It's just not finding Rotarians in there. Oh, gotta get yourself in there. However, the Gazette saves the day. Stacy. Yeah. Mr. President, the Alliance Advisory Group was in the Gazette today. Great photo. Great photo. Yeah. Oh, who are we going to borrow from today? Okay. And even though you're not present, Amy, I see you on the board, so I know that you're going to electronically recognize that you were in the paper along with Andy and Lisa, the WCA Foundation event into the Gazette. So thank you all. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, the pot. Who took the pot? I got 5 to put in it too. It's coming. Oh, Kevin's got it coming back. So I'll give him a moment to get here because you're all going to throng up here for this. Thank you, Andy. If you are a graduate or just very supportive of your hometown high school, you will notice that this past week, the Maple Grove men's soccer made history by winning the Far West Regionals and the Southwestern men's section 6 cross country title. So both local schools down here at the end of the lake, excepting Jamestown, came away with good state titles, and we'll look forward to seeing what Maple Grove does when they get to states. And Chris Anderson's son is on Southwestern. Oh, thank you. Your little brother? Oh, yeah. Okay, good footwork there. Excellent. So that's pretty much the recognitions we have. But let's see, what football aficionados do we have in town here that know a lot about football? Must be somebody, some table. Mike Roberts, you're always good into football. I see you back there smiling. Okay. On this date in 1966, LBJ signed the tax bill. The tax bill had an interesting non-related rider attached to it regarding football. Exact. Hey, good job. Good job. Yep, combined, allowed for the antitrust to, yeah, oh, I do, huh? Greg never did it when we did it that way. Okay. And, okay. And on this date in 1974, another presidential action happened. So I'll let you give you a second chance on that one. 1970. Not presidential, huh? Walt's presidential. 1974 in this state. A lot of presidents were elected on this state, by the way, Kennedy and others, but Nixon resigned. Ooh. Okay, so football. Let's still give Mike a chance. Ohio State comes through again. Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, Mike Moots. We got to get him back on the board here. Cincinnati, Michigan, Purdue, Wisconsin, Mount Union. We have a Mount Union in the room. Cortland, Muhlenberg. We have a Muhlenberg by remote. Baldwin Wallace, RPI, Rochester, Worcester. I believe we have a Worcester in the room. Denison, Heidelberg, and Cornell are the ones. Syracuse didn't play, so you gotta buy. You won, no, huh? Okay. So I hope that Happy Bucks take the day. Okay.
I'll put in $10 because I missed last week birthday table. I should have been here. My Buckeyes won again. We are kicking off our Toys for Tots campaign. So if you need anything regarding Toys for Tots, those three leaders, Patrick and Terry and Heather, are amazing people. 3,400 children got Christmas last year because of our community's generosity. So if you need anything regarding Toys for Tots, you want to set up a collection center, you need toys picked up, you want to write checks, we take cash, 10s and 20s, as Sally, you said. Anybody know who Sally was? Charlie Brown's sister.
Becky, I think you have your hand raised.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry. I put some money electronically on the pot because I missed the last 2 Mondays because our daughter was married in Florida and it went really well. So put Happy Bucks in for that.
Any other Happy Bucks? All right. With that, Greg Jones is back with us again for a Paul Harris Fellow presentation. Please give him a warm welcome.
We are, I'm sure all of you are going to be very happy about this. We are kind of getting down to the end of our season for Paul Harris Fellows. So pay attention, but it's getting short and you won't see me anymore because Soon I will be in Mexico. But anyhow, we are doing one today and it's a great one. So let me tell you a little bit about the fellow who's going to be receiving his Paul Harris Fellow. He is a member of our sustaining club. And by the way, if anybody has any questions about that, I am the guy to talk to. I can sign you up and tell you all the benefits of that and the good things that you can do by being a member of the Paul Harris Sustaining Club. So this local lad, so now you can rule out at least half of the people in this room. He graduated or attended Thiel College and graduated from Kent State University, Vincent. Wake up. Okay. He worked in industrial products. He had a sales career with assignments in Detroit, Baltimore, and the Philadelphia area. His first son was born in Michigan. Second son was born in Maryland, and all four of them, who are the other two, I haven't figured that out yet, are JHS graduates. According to my sources, he tried to be a pitcher, but they never called him SWAT. I don't know exactly what that means, but probably struck out everybody. So he joined Rotary in 1987, our club in 2002. In the past, when our meetings were in person, he was always there to help set up and clean up and picking up the materials. We are very proud to present to one of the kindest people actually I know, his third Paul Harris Fellow. Congratulations, Ali Erickson. I was excited. So Kevin, Kevin will present Ali with his new pin. And Barbara's going to come up here because she's going to accept something too. Oh, yeah, but later. Just take your pen first. Okay, congratulations, Ali. Now, Ali elected to do the transfer process. And he decided, you know, a person that would be very good at doing that is his daughter, Mary Beth. She cannot be with us today, but now, Ali, you get to come back here and you can speak your piece about your family and yourself and anything else you want to talk about in 29 seconds.
It's very nice to be back at the Rotary Club. Very nice to have my sister with me today, Penny, who lives in State College, but she's riding out the pandemic with us. We appreciate that. It seems like only yesterday I was sitting in this very building, but it was actually about 1982 or 3. And what happened was they announced that we would begin Polio Plus. Now, I also heard this year that only smallpox has been eradicated from the list of diseases, and that took 80 years. All I can say, Rotary, is they're halfway home. But we're glad to be able to support the Polio Plus with a continuing presence in the Paul Harris Award Program. I do want to say that our recipient today, Barbara will carry this forward, is our daughter-in-law, Mary Beth Engler Erickson. Mary Beth they live in New Mexico. She is a former exchange student from this very club. And so that she has been very mindful of the Rotary for a long time. If you happen to glance my lapel, I have a pin which she gave me, which came from Japan. It has the Rotary symbol and Mount Fujiyama on it. I would just say I wear it with a great deal of pride, and we're happy for their family in New Mexico. I do want to say that I'm sorry to only have 29 seconds, but but I do say she is an exemplary person who is a Rotarian at heart, because while she and our son met in high school, they were on swim teams, and she has continued to be a very important contributor to the youth swimming programs in their town of Los Alamos. And they have a wonderful program, and she has served that program in many, many ways. And so she believes in service above self, and we're very proud of her, and we'll be happy to make her a Paul Harris Fellow Award receiver. Thank you.
Give this to you. I'm giving this to Barb. There's Mary Beth certificate. And she wears that on her jammies. You got to tell her that. And then her new Paul Harris. Congratulations to both of you.
Photo. It is now my pleasure to welcome Stacy Hannon from the Program Committee, who will introduce our guest presenter for today. For those attending by Zoom, reminder, you are welcome to ask questions during the Q&A by voice or typing your questions into the chat.
Can't see any of you. You're all blurry with these glasses on. Now I can see myself. Okay, it's a real welcome to have Mr. Pease today to learn more about Chautauqua Center and Healthcare. Michael is his first name, so I'm going to use you as Michael. So Michael is the CEO of Chautauqua Center, a federally qualified healthcare center located in Chautauqua County. He earned both his bachelor's and master's degrees in healthcare administration and a nurse as well. During the past 22 years, Michael has worked for various organizations in both clinical and supervisory roles. The past 12 years, he has worked for the Chautauqua Center and has been involved with the center since its inception. Throughout his career, Michael has been responsible for developing, implementing, evaluating a full array of services. He enjoys change management as key aspect of ensuring organizations not only survive, but thrive in the ever fluctuating, high pressure healthcare sector. Mike is a lifelong learner, and he believes that to be meaningful contributor to society, he needs to grow each day. Michael has been a longtime resident in Chautauqua County. He currently lives in Cherry Creek with his wife of 17 years. He is very active in the community and participates on a number of local, regional, and national boards of directors. He is in his free time. Michael enjoys the outdoors and being active, and we welcome you today, Michael, as our speaker.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate the invitation for me to come and speak with you guys today. And I guess I would start with how we, the Chautauqua Center, got to where we are today. So, geez, back in 2010, and I'm sorry, 2009-ish, we at the Chautauqua County Health Network, led by Ann Abdella and Tori Ergang, put in an application into the federal government to open a health center in Chautauqua County. And at the time, we were recognized as one of the highest need counties in the nation that didn't have an existing health center. The criteria for that, unfortunately, is areas that have really low income folks or uninsured folks. So there's good and bad to that story, unfortunately. And we were not funded in the original round of funding that came out, but then there was a subsequent round that came out that we didn't apply for, that we did get funded in 2012. And we opened and saw our first patient in Dunkirk in 2013. Since then, with one staff member, since then we've grown to over 160 staff members, and we've served over 15,000 unique patients in the county since opening, and currently have a caseload of about 11,000 active patients. We provide a number of services, as most health centers do, focused basically corely on primary care. But then we also offer women's health services, oral health services, behavioral health, substance abuse, care coordination. We just had our ribbon cutting for our own pharmacy last week in the Jamestown site located over on Institute Street. We are the building, the newer build, we're not new anymore, but the newer building over on Institute Street over by the hospital. That is our facility. We moved from about 3,000 square feet where we were operating out of into, that is a 75,000 square foot facility now. And we're actually operating about 50,000 square feet of it ourselves. So we have partners who are moving into that facility. Office for the Aging just moved in a couple of months ago. We have a few other partners we can't yet announce, but that are going to bring services to the area that currently aren't here. So we're really excited to continue to partner with existing organizations, both in the county as well as outside of the county. I'm not sure what else to share. We actually put a big effort on trying to hire local folks as our providers. So on the primary care side, we have 8 total providers currently, and 7 of them come from the Jamestown area, which is, we think is really important because those folks are more likely to stay long-term than if you hire providers from somewhere else that have no tie to the area. So we put a lot of effort into that. It's been successful to date. Just so folks, I think these folks are well known, but Dr. Mueller, Rudy Mueller, works with us. Dr. Christina Brown just started with us last month, so she's back and working again. Dr. Paul Robbins is from the area. He's a pediatrician. He started with us about a little over a year ago now. And Dr. Betsy Kidder started with us about 3 years ago now. So those are all 4 physicians that are from the Jamestown area. We're happy about that. In addition, we have some mid-level nurse practitioners and physician assistants who are also local that are working with us as well. So we average about 130 new patients a week between our Jamestown and Dunkirk facilities. And I don't, does anybody have questions? It might be easier if I answer questions if anybody has any. We do, yes. So we have oral health as well. So we have dental, and we do. So one of the biggest misperceptions of federally qualified health centers is that we only serve uninsured folks and people with lesser means. That is not accurate. We actually are open to all people in the community. And in fact, in Jamestown in particular, our biggest growing population of new patients are people that are privately insured and Medicare aged folks, who partially because we have docs coming back that hadn't been working in the private sector for a while. A lot of patients are following them back to be seen. But also Dr. Kidder is, anybody who knows Dr. Kidder, she's fantastic. And she has probably one of the largest patient panels in the area, not just at TCC. So we're trying to give her some relief and bring some other folks back to the area that can partner with her so she can have a little bit of free time with her family. We do not currently have physical therapy and occupational therapy. We have so one of the things that COVID's done is make a lot of organizations reevaluate where they're at currently. And Thanks. So there are a lot of private practices that are now saying they really, they realize because of COVID, they just can't financially remain on their own anymore. So there are a number of conversations that are currently happening that could see more consolidation in a lot of different ways, with us potentially is one way, but also with other organizations. But we're also continuously evaluating the need for services in the area. And there are some services we're looking at bringing into the area that are really hard to get currently. We have no one secured at this point, but things like potentially dermatology or nephrology or just things that are difficult. We are working with our hospital partners on that as well. But if we're able to bring somebody in an area that they can't, we will move forward and do so. The other thing that's important to share that I didn't share at the beginning is federally qualified health centers are governed by a community board of directors. And of that board of directors, more than 51% have to be patients of the organization. We currently have 12 board members and 10 of the 12 are patients. So we're trying really hard to make sure we have board members that use our services so they can guide us in the direction they think we should be going in. So the biggest challenge is we're seeing, again, unfortunately, especially because of COVID, so many people delayed getting care. We've seen people, what we're really combating right now are folks that had a chronic disease prior, maybe diabetes, hypertension, that did not get the care they needed over the last 1.5 to 2 years. They're slowly starting to come back in. Unfortunately, a lot of our folks don't live in areas where they have access to telehealth services either, so they couldn't even be treated that way. We are seeing increases in disease processes that historically had been kind of under control. Somebody mentioned earlier the different types of vaccines that you can get, tuberculosis, being one of those. We are seeing a rise in those. There's a lot of instances of still, unfortunately, lead issues with children. We live in an area that has a lot of old housing stock, and it's not as simple as a kid chewing on paint. They can get it in a number of ways. That's misinformation that's out there. So those are a few things we're seeing. The biggest thing we're noticing right now, because of COVID and the mandates that are in place for people to be vaccinated, we're losing a lot of healthcare workers who are just quitting healthcare and going into other roles in society. We've lost a lot of nurses. We've lost a lot of dentists, hygienists. We've lost a lot of social workers. And it's created a huge void where the organizations that are trying to provide those services here are just competing with each other. We're just hiring from each other. We aren't getting a lot of new folks coming into the area. That is an effort we've been trying to take on, but it's really difficult. So it's not helping the folks who need the services. They're still not getting them because, a social worker might leave our organization and go to the county, or, we might lose a nurse to the hospital, or they might lose a nurse to us. We're not filling the slots that are open. We've just lost, this is totally a guess, but at least 10% of the people that were working in healthcare previously have just gone elsewhere.
I was wondering, you partially answered this question, but initially, did private practice medicine think you were unfair competition because you were supported by the government? Or do they really consider you a blessing because, like all things in healthcare, it changes daily?
So there was one practice in particular, not in this part of the county, who was not super fond of us when we opened. But what quickly happened within the first month with that organization is they started any of their patients they considered difficult, or more involved, they started discharging them or sending them directly to us with a referral, so they didn't have to manage them anymore. So they complained a lot about us, but they were happy to get rid of the patients that were non-compliant. So the hardest thing for us recruiting any licensed provider is significant other. If they don't have some, if there isn't a job for them as well, there are plenty of opportunities in lots of other places. And that's the biggest way we lose out on providers. And I know that's not unique to us because we've been trying to co-recruit with some of the hospitals as well, really high need and high difficult positions to fill. And we're still running into the same thing. One of the reasons they tend to come to the Chautauqua Center and even some of the folks who came back locally, so there's something called a National Health Service Corps, which is a program that will repay providers loans for X amount of time working at a high needs facility. And we have the highest score in Chautauqua County as a high needs facility. So we do end up with there's not a person who's come to us that hasn't gotten their loans repaid that's applied. So that's a feather in our cap. The problem with that is, and that's why we kind of refocused on hiring local folks or folks from the area. We were getting folks from other places and they would come for the 3 years to get their loans repaid and then they would leave. So we've put a lot of effort into finding local folks. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Not that it isn't memorized, but I don't want to forget anything. Mike, thank you for your presentation today. One of Rotary's major international programs, as you know, is the eradication of polio throughout the world. And we are down to just 2 countries in the world where polio exists. In honor and thanks for your presentation today, our club will make a donation in your name that will vaccinate 4 children who will never experience polio in their life. Remembering this year's Rotary International theme, serve to change lives, caring for and serving others is the best way to live because it changes not only other people's lives, but also our own. Thank you, and we are adjourned.